welcome back to another Petroglyphs in the Sky UFO show. I am your host, Jeff Woolwine. How's everybody doing tonight? Yeah, we're coming on here a little early, but I've been filming some UFOs here in the skies lately in Arizona. That's I'm pretty anxious to get out there, so I want to include them in with tonight's show. So thank you guys so much for joining us. How is your 2021 going so far? Mine seems to be going pretty well. So far, we're in the beginning of the year. So yeah, everything seems to be going okay. So there's been a lot of activity now. Those of you who have been following me all these years know my research consists of, the equinox and the solstice. These UFOs actually follow the sun. They follow the energy patterns. They follow the equinox. They follow the solstice. And, it's been a while. Those of you who have been following me on my Facebook page and on my YouTube page, the Phoenix Lights, Petroglyphs in the Sky YouTube page, know that, hey, I've been silent for a long time. There hasn't been any UFO sightings. Well, that is because, for one, I don't hoax my stuff, dude. All my stuff is real, legit. And all these people who's filming UFOs on a daily basis, you got to really question that because they're not here every day. All right. So, during my research on the Phoenix Lights in Phoenix, Arizona, for many, 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 many years, it was a pattern. I learned the pattern of when these UFOs were going to be around in our skies and when they weren't. And, it happened just because of the equinox and the solstice. And, when right after the equinox, they started to come back and before the equinox or the solstice, they start to go away depending on what energy spots you are around the earth, around the globe. So during the month of January, February, March, April, May, June, July, and August, they're here on this side of the globe because this is where the sun is. The sun is aligning with these fault lines around the earth. When the sun aligns with these fault lines, it acts like it opens up these doorways, if you will, and it causes a fusion effect, and it attracts these entities to these special places around the world, around the earth, to these energy spots. This is why a lot of these petroglyphs, these mountains with petroglyphs on them, have these spirals on it. We're going to talk about spirals here and show some petroglyph panels. So the spirals are the doorways. Now, when the Native American shaman was teaching me all these interpretations on these petroglyphs, he was telling me that, these spirals are doorways. They're doorways for the spirits. Is he saying UFO spaceships? Is he saying crafts? No, he's saying spirits of the earth and sky. And that's what I believe these beings are. These are not spaceships. These are not crafts. What happened back in March 13th, 1997 was not a spaceship. There is no evidence to suggest this. The evidence lies within the history of Phoenix, Arizona, not only in the Phoenix Library, in which I found a lot of information, but also in the petroglyphs around Phoenix, Arizona. It's talking about these Phoenix Lights. It's telling us how the Holocom interacted with these beings in the sky. And it wasn't spaceships from another world. These were actually living organisms, living life forms. I think I was the first one to actually prove this in 2005 during my research, and to bring this to the UFO community through the UFO Hunter show. And I did the pilot for that show, and I went on to do Ultimate Encounters. And a matter of fact, UFO Witness, I just did a thing with UFO Witness. So they're using some of my UFO sightings on that show now also. And that's a new show that came out this year. So look for my UFO sightings on UFO Witness show. And I learned all this stuff that it had to do with the changing of the seasons, when they were going to be here, when they weren't going to be here. That first year I'm out there on South Mountain, and I'm watching the spirits, I'm watching the Phoenix lights, I'm watching these entities coming and going from South Mountain out there. It seemed to be a pattern. They were here this month, this month, this month, and then they were gone this month, this month, this month, and then they came back. And and then the next year it repeated itself. It was a pattern. And it just kept repeating itself. And this isn't anything new. This has been going on for 1,000 years, man. The Phoenix lights and these things that we see in the skies today is part of Phoenix, Arizona's history. Now, you won't hear this from anybody else because no one else will talk about this, especially like the archaeologists. Don't believe anything this guy's saying. I mean, he's not even talking about the tombs out there. He's not talking about the sacrificing altars on this holy mountain, now known as South Mountain, formerly known by the Native Americans as Mount Sepoa, Mountain of Mercy. And so back in the day, 1,000 years ago, the Native Americans, the Hohokam people, they gathered here at this sacred mountain. Yes, South Mountain in Phoenix, Arizona is a holy mountain, is a sacred mountain. And it's where they came to worship, to perform sacrifice, and to watch their gods in the sky. I'm talking about the Phoenix lights, the Quetzalcoatl flying serpents. Yes, Quetzalcoatl, the flying serpent, is alive and well and flying around Phoenix, Arizona. I have filmed him many times before and continue to see him in the skies. So yeah, these things are living organisms. These things are alive. Is there any evidence to suggest spaceships, crafts, and little gray man? As far as I'm concerned, I haven't found any. I've been doing this for many, 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 many years. And I've gone down that path. I've gone down that road, where, crafts and aliens and this and that. And I just haven't found any evidence to suggest this. I see a lot of hearsay. But I don't see any facts. I don't see any evidence. Where the evidence lies and where the history lies is with the petroglyphs carved by the Native Americans, especially on these holy mountains, where we are finding spiral carvings and what the archaeologists likes to call anthropomorphs. These shape-shifting petroglyph entities. They're taking the likeness of man. They're taking a likeness of snakes. They're taking a likeness of diamonds. They're taking a likeness of orbs. They're taking a likeness of lights, okay? That's what is credible. That is where the history is, okay? That is what we can verify. Not only in the carvings, but some of these texts that we read from 3,000 to 7,000 years old. Especially when it comes to the Anunnaki and the Sumerian texts, and some of the scriptures in the Bible. Oh, the Bible, don't say that word. Oh, you just said a bad word, dude. Don't say the Bible at me. Don't go throwing religion down my throat, buddy. Hey, I'm not talking about religion, man. I'm talking about looking at that book for what it is. Not religion. Kick religion out the door. And let's look at that book as a type of history of the world. And when you do that, it tells us, man. It tells us what these things that we see in the skies today really are. Are they crafts? No. Are they living beings? Yeah, man. Come on. They're shape-shifting entities. They like to take the likeness of man. We're going to show some petroglyphs here. They're showing this. It's fascinating that we can read about these things in the Anunnaki scrolls and the Sumerian texts, and then we can go to the petroglyphs on the mountains, right? These holy mountains, right? And we can see the prehistoric photographs of what the Sumerians are talking about. That is where the history is. That is where the truth is. That is what can be verified and what we see in the skies today. We're seeing lights, we're seeing orbs, and some of us are seeing flying snakes, and some of us are seeing flying worms, all right? And a lot of people, because They just haven't done their history. I don't know what's going on. They're taking the word of people who haven't done their homework, who has never walked on the mountains before, who has never investigated the petroglyphs, who think that the Anunnaki scrolls and the Sumerian texts and things like that is just, just a story. And they don't look at these ancient texts as credible as part of our history. They kind of blow it off. They don't believe in that. They say, oh, there's spaceships. The Anunnaki left in spaceships. They left in crafts. Does it really say that in the text? No, it doesn't. It doesn't say crafts. People, mankind, put that word in crafts. It doesn't say crafts in the book, in the scrolls, in the text. No. And so a lot of people, let's go to the Phoenix Lights. I'm always talking about the Phoenix Lights and how, people are saying, oh, this craft went over the valley going 8 miles an hour, but yet no one, and thousands of witnesses, right? But yet no one can pick up a camera, right? And the stuff that we do have, the videos that we do have, where are the lights at? March 13th, 1997. Where are the lights at? They're on the west side of Phoenix, Arizona, on the west side of South Mountain, formerly known as Mount Sepoa, to the Indians, a sacrificing mountain, a holy mountain. That is where these lights are at. And what, only 5-6 videos of this? Come on. If something doesn't make sense, then, to me, it's not credible. So if 1,000 people witness this craft going over the city of Phoenix, but not one person can pick up a photograph, pick up a camera? Come on, man. And the reason why we do have videos of what happened that night, what really happened that night, not hearsay, but what we can verify, because I don't go on hearsay, dude. I go with what I can prove. And what we can prove is what the video shows. And the video shows March 13th, 1997, lights on the west side of Phoenix, Arizona, on the west side of South Mountain. Why? Because skywatchers like Tom King was out there waiting for the lights because the lights appeared nights before. So he was ready. He was ready for something to happen. And when it did, boom, he was on it, dude. So my point is, if anything would have flown over the city of Phoenix, Tom King surely would have got a video of that, don't you think? So you can't go on hearsay, Oh, here's another one of my favorites. You know how Johnny's out there in school, right? And he hurts his leg on a swing, and he goes to the nurse. Okay, but by the time it circles the whole school, oh my God, Johnny's in the hospital. He's going to lose his leg. Oh my God, he may not come back to school. You know how this, the hearsay, the rumors fly. It's exactly what's going on with the 1997 Phoenix Lights. And people selling movie tickets and people selling books with no facts whatsoever, with no evidence whatsoever. They're basing their stuff off of hearsay. Come on. Let's get off of the hearsay. Let's start talking to people who understand what's going on here, who has been out in the field, who has understand the petroglyphs, who has done more research than these other people trying to exploit the lights, right? Making money, trying to get famous, get on television, right? That's what it's all about out here, dude. It's a dog-eat-dog world, man, and it sucks, dude. Because it makes it harder for people who actually have answers and who back up their shit. Harder for that to get the information out because people, with more money and more resources, who can rent out the Harkins Theater in downtown Tempe, because they have the money, right? And they're selling bullshit to people off of hearsay, nothing but themselves, and totally don't look at the evidence, right? And when the evidence does come into their lap, oh, they don't want to deal with that because they didn't think of it first. They didn't discover this first. They want to still be on the platform. They still want to be on the TV shows, all right? So they're not going to mention your name. Matter of fact, the people don't even talk about Tom King anymore. I'm the only one that does. Who's Tom King, right? Tom King is one of the original people who filmed the lights back in 1997, March 13th. Bet you didn't know that. Now you do. You know why? Because that type of information has been suppressed. They don't want you to know that. The people in this field don't want you to know about Tom King. They want him to go away because they're making money. They're exploiting off ignorance of people, the audience. They're making fools of the audience by selling books and movies about hearsay and can't back up what they say. So they leave all the credible information out because it will take them off of their soapbox. That's it. So what was it? So in 2005, I started this. Petroglyphs in the sky. Why do I call it petroglyphs in the sky? Because when I went to the mountain, I saw these things in the sky. I went out to the rocks. I investigated. I found out, I was the first one to do this, that these things that we see in the skies today were carved literally on the mountains 1,000 years ago. They're prehistoric photographs of UFO sightings. Up until that point, it was just a theory. Oh, we think the Native Americans saw UFOs in the sky, but no one's really proved it, dude. Especially in Phoenix. Oh my God, dude. So what? The lights came out in 97. There was some person called Dr. X, and she was afraid to come out in public because she's a doctor, and she was afraid to get ridiculed. And then all of a sudden, people start, claiming they saw the 1997 Phoenix lights. So, oh no, now she wants to come out, and say, oh, I was the first one to see it. So, that happened in 97. So my point is, in 2005, all these years, dude, up until 2005, nobody has looked at the Indian petroglyphs on the mountains of Phoenix, Arizona for a possible connection. And if they did, it would have been completely different. But in 2005, I was the first one to prove it here in Phoenix, Arizona. I even found the petroglyph spread of the Phoenix lights that happened back in 1997, which was carved over 1,000 years ago on the rocks of South Mountain. No one has ever discovered that before. So it was like many years, like over 10 years, dude. And all of a sudden, no one's talking about the petroglyphs but me. And then I come into the field, and oh my, look what happened, dude. I proved that there was flying snakes carved on South Mountain, and now we're seeing flying snakes over that mountain, right? Quetzalcoatl, like I said before, these flying serpents, right? I was the first one to come out and say, look, there's no evidence of spaceships here. These things are alive. They're like creatures, dude. Some would even say they're like kind of monsters, because they're scary, dude. When they're up there morphing and changing color, your eyes are kind of boggling. Your mind's like, dude, what the hell is this, right? It's weird, dude. It's weird when you're watching them, man. And a lot of people, because of misinformation, think that when they see a light out there, that it's a spaceship, that it's a craft. But what if that light is actually a living being, right? What if that light is a living creature? What if that light is a living, conscious entity? Again, I was the first one to prove this in 2005 when I'm doing my research in Phoenix, Arizona. Researching the Phoenix lights, researching the petroglyphs, researching Phoenix history, talking to Native Americans who went up there and taught me the petroglyphs. So I'm not saying anything that hasn't been said before. I'm bringing this information back to the public. I'm bringing the petroglyphs to you. I'm bringing my UFO sightings to you. Am I making money off this? No, man. I'm not out to exploit nothing. Yeah, I have a book. Do I see any money from the book? No, man. I told the publishers to give my money to the foster kids in Phoenix, dude. I'm not out for money. I'm not out for get on TV or anything like that, dude. I'm out here bringing this information to you because this is important. This is what I discovered. All right, and I want you to go out there and look into this possibility for your own damn self. I want you to take a look at these petroglyphs, man, and take a look at these stories, and let's start understanding that, sure, spaceships are cool. I get it. Green guys are cool. I mean, just the other day, the scientists have said they found an Earth-like type planet, outside our solar system. It's like the 7th or 8th one they found or something, right? And what's to say an advanced civilization has come to Earth on a spaceship at one form or time or another and has, interacted with mankind or has landed here, things like that, and they have a spaceship? Sure, I'm open to that. I never said it. I never said that they don't exist. I said what I'm saying is we have no evidence of this. We have no proof of this. The proof lies on the petroglyphs and what we see for our own eyes, right? We see the light in the sky, right? We know that light's there. And then we go to the rock art and we see the exact same damn thing, a guy looking up at a light. Oh, now that can't get more clearer than that, dude, right? And then we study the petroglyphs more often, more better, and we come to understand the meaning of the petroglyphs. And it's saying that these creatures are transforming. They're anthropomorphing. They're changing shape. They're shapeshifters, dude. And that's what we're seeing in the sky. They're changing shape, right? That is where the evidence lies at, man. Not hearsay. Someone trying to get famous, selling a book and movie tickets and blah, blah, blah. We need to look at the evidence here. We need to look at the facts. We need to look, at where the evidence lies, okay? And that's what I'm here to do. Look, this is a whole new theory, whatever, on the Phoenix Lights and UFOs. I don't know how many times, when I was doing the UFO Hunter show on the History Channel, I was telling them, look, dude, these things aren't spaceships. These lights are alive. They're creatures, right? And who was it? I forget his name now. Not Bill Burns. Bill Burns, he was tucked away somewhere. He was hiding from me. He didn't want anything to do with me. But the other guy, I can't remember right off the hand now. It's been a while. But they're telling me, dude, you cannot say entities. You can't say fallen angels. You can't say creatures. You can't say light beings, right? They're saying, dude, you're filming some bizarre stuff. Yeah, we agree with you. That's why we're doing you on television. That's why we're presenting your findings on the History Channel, because you have matched and we have verified the video that it's not a hoax, and we have verified that the petroglyphs are showing what you filmed, right? But you can't say the truth, basically. You can't tell them that they're light beings because no one will understand this, right? So if you're going to talk about these things, you have to say spaceships. You have to say crafts. You can't say living organisms. You can't say light beings. You're filming some bizarre stuff, and the people just can't deal with it yet. And that pissed me off, dude. That pissed me off. I don't know why. Even on the show, when the show aired, right? When the show aired, when you watch the History Channel, what was the name of it? Arizona Lights, on the UFO Hunter show, Arizona Lights. They say that was back in 2007 when I did it. I did a pilot for the UFO Hunter show in 2005. I wrote an article for UFO Magazine in 2005, and then later on, when the show actually aired in 2007, that's when the whole group of guys came down, and we did a hike up there on the White Tank Mountains. And so when the show aired, they'd say, "Oh, it's Jeff's theory. It's personal quest of Jeff Woolwine or some shit like that, dude." They don't want to give me credit for discovering this, man. That just pissed me off. That pissed me off. Look, I have evidence. I had this whole spiel, dude. I told him who the hell Holcomb was. I told him who the first park ranger Charles Holbrook of South Mountain, who backs me up on this, from the 1930s. I told him where I found all this information buried in a public library folder for the last 80 years in some vault. I told him, look what I discovered here. It's talking about the lights. It's talking about, the Mayans being here. It's talking about the gold, that's buried here on South Mountain. I look at the photographs I discovered, I took. Look at all this stuff. Look at the altars, right? The Mayans are here along with the Holcomb Indians in Phoenix, Arizona. I had this whole spiel ready to go for the History Channel. No, they didn't use none of that. Why? It's all documented. It's all facts. I can prove it. And that's one thing a lot of these other Skywatchers can't do. They can't back up what they say. And it's a shame, because they want you to believe in what they're saying, so you buy their books, right? And make them famous, right? So you click on that YouTube video and you pay them. You pay them. Every time you click on that YouTube video, you're paying them. And they're profiting off of your ignorance, to be bluntly. And I apologize. But that's what's going on here. Stop believing in that nonsense and start doing the research on your own. That's what I did. That's exactly what I did. And I was going down this road, that everybody else is talking about, everybody else is saying, right? But the facts, the evidence wasn't there. No, I couldn't prove that road. The evidence, the true history of it all, was taking me down another path. And I'm sorry, I went down that road and I couldn't find any evidence, not one single proof. It was all hearsay. It was all, we think this and we think that, and oh yeah, this happened, but we can't prove it. I'm sorry, I can't do that, dude. I have to go down what I can prove. And that road is taking me down this story completely different from what everybody else is talking about. And that's where the history is. And that's what you can back everything up at. You can back this shit up, dude. You can't back up hearsay. Hearsay's hearsay. Bullshit can take a holiday. That's basically what it is. Let's get the story straight on what the Phoenix Lights is and what these things in the sky are. I've been doing this for so many years now, and because of my work, a lot of people are starting to understand this. I was the first one to actually prove this and do this, and no one else has ever done this before, in the history of ufology. I was the first one to prove the petroglyphs, on the Phoenix Lights, I was the first one to say and prove, look, these things are alive, dude. They're not spaceships, So, and I'm still doing it, So, enough of my rambling. Let's talk about, this is my book here, and like I said, I don't make any money off of it. So I don't know what's going on with this. So this might be a limited edition. There's things going on in the background here that I don't know really what's going on. So I suggest that if you want this book, while it's still available on eBay and other bookstores, maybe you can still get it on the ebooks and things like that. That you pick up your copy quick, because I have a feeling within the next couple years, maybe sooner, this book won't be available anymore. This could be like a limited edition, and I might have to start all over trying to get it on the sale again. So I won't say anything, I won't go into details, but strange things are is happening, with I can't say anything right now, but yeah, I would get this book as soon as you can, because I'm not sure how long this book will be available on the shelves and things like that. And so I might have to start all over again, trying to get it out on the shelves and back into people's hands. So I don't know what's going on, but anyway, it's available now. So I would grab it before it's gone, and it takes another 5 years, for people to pick it up again. So yeah, this isn't just a normal everyday UFO books, Len Kitai, Phoenix Lights bullshit, right? This is proof that's backing up everything. This is the history of Phoenix, Arizona. That includes the Phoenix Lights, okay? The Phoenix Lights is Arizona's history, okay? And it talks about the first park ranger, Charles Holbrook, back in the 1930s, right? And the Native Americans at that time told him about the tombs up there, told him about the altars, told him about the gold that's buried up there and how much gold is reported to be there, left by the Hohokams, left by the Mayans. The Mayans were in Phoenix, Arizona. I mean, come on, back then, Phoenix was part of Mexico back then, right? I mean, look at your history. Phoenix was Mexico at one point in time, and so that would make sense why the Mayans were there. I found Mayan artifacts up there, or not artifacts, but Mayan carvings, Mayan petroglyphs, you know. So a lot of stuff that this archaeologist is talking about doesn't make sense, dude. You know, and that's what really kind of upsetted me, you know, because I'm out there in the field, I'm out there on the mountains day after day, year after year, and I'm finding all these evidence. I'm finding evidence of giants. I'm finding petroglyphs with giants, you know, and I'm finding, you know, tombs, you know, that could hold gold, and then I go to the library, right? I'm finding sacrificing altars, right? And I go to the library, and I get on the fourth floor in the Arizona room, and I ask for the file on South Mountain, and they gave me this file, and it's from, you know, the 1960s and older, or whatever it says on it. And I open it up, and there's Charles Holbert, the first park ranger in 1930s. Who learned all his information from the Native Americans at that time, who was instructed to protect the tombs, the gold tombs out there, chase the gold robbers off the mountain, you know, understood the spirits of the earth and sky, a.k.a. UFOs, a.k.a. Phoenix Lights, you know, who understood about all this stuff, knew about the altars, stuff like that. And then in the late 40s, that's when he dies. And all his information, all the information was tucked away, buried away for the last 80 years, not talked about. The archaeologist wants us to believe that the Hohokam people simply vanished or simply migrated somewhere else because of drought, you know, but the real history of Phoenix, Arizona tells a different story. You know, it says that, you know, the phoenix bird rose out from the ashes of the formal civilization. Well, you know, they're spreading a lot of bull on the formal civilization. They want you to believe one thing when the evidence is suggesting another thing on who the Hohokam really was, okay? And how about the giants carved on the rocks out there? And how about the anthropomorphs carved out there, okay? UFO sightings, stick figure men looking up at flying snakes, flying orbs, flying diamonds, flying crosses, spiral doorways, right? They're not telling you that, dude. They don't want you to know that, right? But that's part of Arizona history. That is the history of Phoenix, Arizona. It consists of these entities, of these flying creatures, if you will. You know, they're saying the light's a spaceship. Well, dude, what if that light is actually them? And, you know, another point is, you know, look at the firefly, right? The firefly, the lightning bug, he lights up. I always reference the firefly, dude, because that's them. That's how they are. That's them. They light up, right? That's exactly what these beings in the sky are doing. That's them. They light up, right? And then the petroglyphs that we're going to talk about here in a minute, we're going to show some petroglyph panels. You know, they're morphing. So these orbs that we see in the sky today, these lights that we see in the sky today, is just the beginning. There's more to it, and we're going to get into that here. You know, we're going to get into it here in a minute. So this book is about how to understand the petroglyphs. It's 15 years in the making, 15 years of hiking South Mountain, photographing these petroglyphs, understanding the rock art, sky watching out there, you know, talking to a Native American who brought me up there on the mountain, a Native American shaman who works with the city government at the Pueblo Indian Art Museum. His name is Dave Morris. Look him up, dude. Tell him Jeff Woolwine sent you. See what he says about that, right? That's who I talked to. That's who taught me all of this, you know. So, you know, I'm not making this stuff up as I'm going along, dude. This shit has always been with us. This story of what really is Phoenix, Arizona history has always been with us. It's just been covered up for the last 80 years. They don't want you to know about the Phoenix Lights. They don't want you to know about the gold tombs on South Mountain. They don't want you to know about the altars up there. They want this completely hushed up. They blew up petroglyphs out there. I think my last show I talked about it. There's a huge giant wall constructed by giants. And one side of the wall, you know, the back side of the wall, you can clearly see that it was huge, big bricks, stones stacked on top of each other to form a wall, all right, going into a man-made hill, all right. But on the other side, facing the city, that's all blown to shit, man. They blew it all up. There was petroglyphs all over that wall. They blew it up, man, because they don't want you to know. That's what's going on here. I'm bringing this information back into your hands. I'm bringing the information down from the mountain and into your hands. Okay, that's what this is all about. Evidence, proof, not hearsay. Not hearsay. Evidence, real shit, real stuff. That's what's going on here. The Phoenix Lights, landscape for the spirits. True stories, myths, legends, and UFOs over Phoenix, right? So there's a second volume to that, and I don't think that's ever going to get published. That really kind of upsets me. But you can find part of the important parts, anyway, of my second book that they didn't want to publish on my website below, down below here. You can that's my website down below on your screen. All right, you can follow that link into my website, and there you can learn more about Charles Holberg, the first park ranger. I photocopied, when I opened up that folder, I photocopied everything I could get my hands on, right? Because that was my evidence, right? Because for a whole year, I'm talking about the tombs. I'm doing radio shows. I'm doing cable shows. I'm doing, news interviews, for the city of Phoenix. I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm saying, look, dude, I'm finding something completely different here. And why can't I find any other evidence backing up my stuff? But yet the evidence is there. Look at what I'm bringing down from the mountain here. Look at the photographs. Look at the proof. Look at the petroglyphs. Look at the things I'm filming in the sky. All right, there's what is going on here for a whole year until I went to the library and boom, opened up that folder, and Charles Holberg is telling me, dude, you're right. He verified everything. So yeah, dude, I knew it, man. And a year later, finding it in the library just was the icing on the cake. It's what I needed, to back up what I was claiming here, what I was saying here, So I have the video sightings in the sky, which has been analyzed, make sure I'm not hoaxing it, CGI. I have the petroglyphs on my side. I have the Native Americans, the ones that understand this, on my side. I have Charles Holberg on my side, and I have all the evidence on the mountain up there. I mean, that's 5, 6, credible evidence here. Not a theory, not hearsay. Proof. It's all in this book here. The Phoenix Lights, landscape for the spirits, true stories, myths, legends, and UFOs over Phoenix. So yeah, the second part of the book you can find on my website there. It talks about how and when to see these Phoenix Lights there on South Mountain in Phoenix, Arizona. And once you understand the pattern, so if you want to be a sky watcher, if you want to be a UFO hunter, I suggest get rid of your cell phone. Don't videotape these things in the sky with a cell phone. Don't record them with a cell phone. Cell phones suck. Get yourself a good video camera so you can zoom in, get crystal clear images, not cell phones. We want to be able to see the objects, not little dots in the sky, dude. And look for, understand your history of the land. Understand your history wherever you live at. And if it consists of Native Americans and talking about, a holy spiritual mountain, if they call it some kind of mountain, a spirit mountain, or there's spirals on that mountain, or anthropomorphs, shape-shifting, we're going to talk about it here in a minute, petroglyphs, things like that, that's the source. These things are hanging out at these mountains here because these mountains were made by fault lines. Okay, and like I mentioned before, the sun gets in the right position during the equinox and the solstice in between these months. The sun aligns with these energy spots and it attracts these beings to these energy spots, such as these mountains with fault lines, volcanoes, things like that, right? And then after the equinox, they follow the sun. So they're over here right now, January, February, March. I'm catching UFOs out here now because we just had a changing of the seasons back in December. So now December, or especially now January, February, March, April, I'm gonna be filming a lot more. Right now the skies are cloudy, but yeah, we're gonna be seeing a lot more. UFO activity now because the sun is right aligned with our fault lines, aligned in Arizona, aligned with California, aligned, with Utah, Nevada. They're on the west side now, right? And then after the equinox or the solstice, whatever, the sun moves and the UFOs follow. So where are they going to be at now? They're going to be in Florida. They're going to be in Jerusalem. They're going to be in Iraq. They're going to be in Paris, right? A few of them might sneak over here. So you might get a couple of good sightings over here, you know? It's like birds, right? They're flocking for they're going heading south for the winter and things like that, right? And then some of them get astray and they still come over here to try and get that energy, but most of them are over there. And then after the equinox, boom, the sun is moving and it's aligning with these equinox. This is the reason why so many rock art, so much spirals and light and shadows. It's in my book. I explain this in my book. Light and shadow markers and light and shadow petroglyph panels. This is why it's so important during the equinox and the solstice. The sun goes in the sky and then it casts a shadow on these spirals, right? And it cuts through the spiral into the rock, into the stone. That means that's the doorway. And it's telling us they're using the sun and the shadow and the facing of the rock and the boulder on top of this other boulder to catch that shadow. They're using that as an information device. And that's the whole that's the whole thing right now. The Native Americans have documented everything we need to know how to understand what these UFOs in the sky really are, when to see them, when not to see them, and what to expect to see. They've done it. They've done all the research for us. It's been tucked away, on these mountain scrolls, right? The whole mountain is a damn scroll of prehistoric photographs of what was going on there. And we need to go back there and understand this and realize what they're telling us, because it's our generation now. We're seeing these things in the sky a lot now, right? And we need to understand why. And they've documented all the evidence for us on the mountains. It's there. So let's go up there. Let's not think that it's some Indian on peyote. Let's go up there and take it for face value word. Yeah, dude, these things are alive. They're creatures. They're anthropomorphs. They're coming and going from these mountains out here. All right. They're going in because, like Native Americans and the Mexicans, the Mayans, they say that these spirits are going down into the underworld. Well, on a scientific level, they're going down into those fault lines, man. They're absorbing that energy, and could be the reason why they're shining brightly lit, dude. They're light up, man, because they're absorbing that energy. I tell you what, if we're sucking up so much energy like that, I bet you we're gonna glow too. I bet you we'll have such a light on our body. Oh my God, we would probably need sunglasses to see us. So yeah, it just makes total sense, dude. And that's where the information lies at, That's where the proof is, The Native Americans. And so back to my point. So the equinox and the solstice, they cast these shadows through these spirals. It cuts through the spiral and goes into the stone, into the crack, because that crack is the doorway for these UFOs, for these entities. Because when I was being taught this by the Native American Dave Morris, he's telling me, the spiral that is a doorway and that crack. You see how the spiral ends on that crack right there? Well, that crack is the door. The door is that's the door. They go into that crack right there. And I'm still thinking technology, nuts and bolts, stuff like that. I'm like, dude, how can a big spaceship, right, get into a little crack like that into a rock, right? Until I understood it, until I saw it. And then I realized once you visualize it, once you see it firsthand, once you see it, then you're like, oh my God, yeah, look at that, dude. That thing's alive. It's a creature, and look what it did. It came out of the sky. It was solid. It's shape-shifting. It's anthropomorphing. Okay, and then when it gets close to the mountain, it's a spirit now. It's a ghost. You can see through it. You can see through the damn thing. And then it absorbs itself into the stone, into the rock. It went into that doorway. That's when it started dawning on me. Look, I don't think this is technology, man. I don't think technology will be able to do that. These nuts and bolts spaceships, I don't think they can do that, dude. That's when I started looking at things a whole different way. That, wait a minute. I just witnessed something. I saw it. I'm not crazy. I'm not, I got the camera. Camera witnessed it. I got it on film. It's going in that rock. It's coming out the other side. What the hell? What the hell was that, dude, right? It dawned on me, wait a minute. These things, they're alive, dude. They know who's watching. They know who's not watching. So that's why it's so important of these equinox shadow panels, like Stonehenge, when it's going up in between those rocks, the archaeologist wants us to believe, oh, it's time to plant corn, man. It's the changing of the seasons. Now it's time to harvest corn. That has nothing to do with planting corn. It has everything to do with these spirits in the sky, these UFOs in the sky. And when you understand the rock art, it tells you when to see them, what time to see them. The shadow and the equinox and the solstice. They tell you what to look for. It's all there, dude. It's all documented. The Native Americans have done this before. They documented all this stuff for us, for our generation, for us to understand. Let's take a look at some of these rock art, like what I'm talking about here. So here, look at this petroglyph here. Okay, so I want you to concentrate on the orb. Let's look at the middle here. Let's don't look at anything else, but look at that dot right there in the middle. You see that dot? You see that dot there in the middle? Let's concentrate on that for a minute. So that dot in the middle is the light, is the orb that we are seeing today. That dot is the orb, okay? I have witnessed this. I have seen these orbs morph, change into a snake, change into a stick figure man. Look on my website there on the very front page. It says Quetzalcoatl, okay? This thing came out of a light. There was a light in the sky, an orb light in the sky, okay? Above South Mountain. Me and Pam was up there on South Mountain. A light appeared in the sky. I got this on film, dude. A light appeared in the sky, and this black thing came out of the light, and it shape-shifted into a serpent. And Pam's over there with the binoculars going, oh my God, it's a snake. It's a snake. And I'm filming the thing going, damn right it is. It's a damn snake. It's Quetzalcoatl. And as it goes across the sky, it morphs. It changes into a stick figure looking guy with looks like his hands on his hip, and he's got two horns or tentacles or something coming out of his head. Exactly like some of these petroglyphs that we see today, where we see the stick figure man, especially like some of the Sumerian Sumerian art and some of these other ancient rock art we see around the world, where we see like antennas coming out of the heads or horns, right? I filmed that. I've seen that. It morphed in front of me. It went from a snake into a stick figure man with horns, dude. Okay? So my whole point on this petroglyph here is that orb is the beginning, and it morphs. Uh-oh. Look at its feet. You see that? It's got two orbs on the bottom. So let's concentrate on these three circular orbs. Is that a pyramid? Is that what we're seeing in the skies? Look, it's a pyramid in the sky. And a lot of people think, that they see this pyramid, these lights of these orbs in a pyramid, and they're going over his head and they're filming it, and they think it's a spaceship. They think it's what is that, UB-29 or whatever that black triangle is, right? And they fail to understand that these lights, they fly they fly together like that, and I think that they're absorbing each other's energy. I've seen them with these lines. We're going to talk about these lines here in a minute. These lines that connect to each other, and then it kind of forms like barbells in the sky. There's many petroglyphs out there showing barbells, stuff like that. And so yeah, it's a line, and it's connected together, absorbing each other's energy. That's one thing that this line does. The other line, we'll talk about that here in a few minutes. But yeah, so we have three orbs. two on the bottom, which is his feet, and then one in the middle. And it's changing its shape. It's morphing. Okay? And could that be more orbs up on top? Yeah. It could be. You see that? And the archaeologists call these anthropomorphs. And this is what is going on. This is what's to come. We are about to see more. And as years progress throughout the years, more people will start to understand this. All these sky watchers out here, they're going to start to realize, wait, he's shape-shifting. Oh, my God, he looks like a snake. Oh, my God, he looks like a man now, right? So it's coming. I've seen it. I've recorded it. I was probably the first one to do this in the United States. I haven't changed anything for the last 20 years of my research. Everything is still the same. Okay, let's look at another glyph. This one is really cool. Look at this. Look at those dots, right? Those are orbs. Those are the orbs that we see in the sky, man. Look at that. That's a UFO sighting there. Look at that. Now, you see the box there to the left? Now, that's interesting. That could be. Now, it looks like it's with this other orb on the bottom, right? So it's shape-shifting. It's shape-shifting. Now, look at the sun. You see the circle with the four lines coming out of it? Just like a sun. Just like how we draw suns in kindergarten. The Indians were drawing the same type of suns, okay? And then these dots. You see the dots? It's telling us it's moving. It's moving through the sky. That's what these dots represent. That it's moving. Okay? And then we have another circular, clear-looking orb with a line in it on the bottom there. And look, see these two barbell lines here, and it's zigzagging. I'm talking about the orb, the clear orb on the bottom, with the line coming out from the right. Look at that. And a lot of people today, we're going to get into this also. Oh, it's a balloon, dude. That's a string, man. That's a balloon, dude. Why were the Native Americans carving balloons, 1,000 years ago? It doesn't make sense. Oh yeah, look at that. There's a guy in the middle, right? You see that? And then you see the zigzag patterns there. You see the zigzag lines. Can you see those zigzag lines there? Those are mountains. And then up on top, we have a square-looking entity, UFO. Some people would consider that a tic-tac UFO, right? So yeah, once you start looking at the petroglyphs with your third eye in such a way, then you'll start to understand what they're carving here. It's not just a story. And they're carving on places where the sighting took place at. So this cluster, and some ufologists call this a fleet. So this fleet of orbs was recorded in the sky right here above this rock. Okay? So this is a prehistoric photograph. This rock is a witness, all right, to what occurred here in this spot. That's the reason why we're not supposed to move the petroglyphs, okay? Because the petroglyphs are there for a reason, all right? Because that is a testimony. That is a photograph of history that took place right there where these petroglyphs are carved at. So the Native American is putting that, when you look at the petroglyphs, you're supposed to look at the whole landscape, okay? Because they put the information in the rock from the landscape, okay? So, for instance, we see a pyramid heel snake, right? We got a serpent, right? And it's a pyramid. I talk about this in my book, and it's a pyramid, okay? And then when you step back from that panel, and you look behind that boulder where this like pyramid snake is, the two half triangle carving of the snake is. When you step back from that, you'll soon realize that those two pyramids carved there from the snake is actually the two pyramid hills behind that panel. Okay, so then the artist is telling us, look, a big, huge flying serpent came out of the canyon because of the pyramid here and a pyramid here on the of the hills, came out of the middle of those two pyramids. I talk about that in the book. So you have to look at the whole landscape to understand the true meaning of the petroglyph. Here we go again. Look at this here. This is great. So lines, right? Lines. Oh, they're balloons. That's strings. Yay! They're strings. The Native Americans were seeing balloons. And they carved them in the sky. Yay! Ooh, balloons. Because look at the string. You got to see the string, man. Do you see the string? Right? Wrong. These are orbs, man. And these orbs, these lines come out from these orbs, all right? And to the untrained eye, to the inexperienced, they look like balloons. They look like strings. They look like balloons tied on strings. And again, if something doesn't make sense, then how can we determine if it's credible or not? So, if balloons wasn't around during the Native American time when they carved this 1,000 years ago, maybe older, then the balloon theory just goes out the window, because why and how would they see balloons if balloons wasn't in the sky at that time? No, they're not carving balloons. They are carving what they saw in the sky in this area where this rock sits today. This is a testimony of what happened above this rock in this area. We have these orbs. Now look at the line there in the middle of these two orbs over there. It looks like a barbell, right? Oh, looks like balloons, right? That's what a lot of people think, you know, and because of misinformation of spaceships and flying saucers and green men from Alpha Centauri and Mars and stuff like that. You know, they see these beings in the sky and they dismiss them, you know, because what are they doing? They're shape-shifting, right? They're in control of each other, right? You know, they know what they're doing, right? But yet, to the untrained eye and to people looking for flying saucers, they dismiss that sighting and they call it balloons, okay? Because they're not educated yet. They don't understand this yet. Because they're taking the word with no credibility, you know, on crafts is what we need to be looking for, all right? But that is wrong information. There's no evidence of that. The evidence, what am I saying, is right here in this petroglyph panel. That's what the evidence suggests. There are orbs in the sky. There's lines coming out of these orbs. These orbs connect with these lines, okay? They're absorbing each other's energy, all right? And also, these lines are also used to pick up animals and to pick up people. I have seen many petroglyphs. It's on my website. Look, I think I got that petroglyph panel here. We're going to show you here. This orb picking up a man and carrying him up into the sky. Read my website. Check out my website. Check out my book. I explain all of this. Check out my past shows. My past shows explain on what really happened to the Hohokam Indians 1,000 years ago and what the true history of Phoenix, Arizona really is. It's in my book. It's on the rock art. It's in the website. All right, so that's where the credibility lies at. Not somebody out there with hearsay trying to sell a book, trying to sell you movie tickets, all right, off of hearsay. No, dude, hearsay's bullshit. We can't rely on hearsay. We need evidence. We need credible evidence. And I'm sorry, the petroglyphs are the credible evidence. The petroglyphs and some of these 3,000 to 7,000 year old scrolls. Okay? It talks about it. We read the scrolls, we see the photographs. Read the scrolls, see the photographs. Read the scrolls, see the photographs, see the things in the sky. Read the scrolls, see the photographs, see the things in the sky. Read the scrolls, see the photographs, see the things in the sky. That's where the credibility is. Not somebody trying to sell you a book and movie tickets at Harkins Theater in downtown Tempe. Evidence. Here we go. We have 3 orbs. Look at this. Isn't that crazy? Look at that orb. Look at these orbs, right? Lights. Lights in the sky. Orbs in the sky. I've filmed that. I've seen that in the sky. I videotaped that, man. I've seen it. I know what they're talking about, right? Not a spaceship. Living creatures, living orbs. They're alive. Look, the lines from the bottom, right? They're moving up. They're going up. Just like when we were drawing in kindergarten and in 3rd grade, and we want to show something that's moving, we draw lines behind it. It's exactly what's going on in this panel. We have orbs, and they're going up. Here we go. So we have 2 orbs together. We have 2 orbs that look like bifocals, don't they? They look like glasses, right? That's crazy, huh? It's even got the nose thing there, right? Yeah. Nope. Those are 2 orbs in the sky, and a line is connecting them together. And again, why would Native Americans be carving balloons when balloons didn't exist at the time? Are they telling us they saw balloons here? Is that what's so special? Is what's so significant that they took the time to draw circles on rocks with lines with them? Because they wanted me and you to understand they saw balloons? Was that important? No. Absolutely not. No. They're drawing things they see in the sky because it's important, it's significant, and it's what they understood as their gods, maybe? Yeah, I think so. A carving of a photograph of what they had, because they didn't have video cameras back then. They didn't have cameras. They had stone boulders to record their sightings on. They had stone rocks. The rocks was their platform, was their paper, if you will, was their depictions. That's the only way they could, tell their story for generations upon generations to generation, for them to understand what's really with us, what's really here. Are they from another world? No. This is their planet also. We haven't really got into this on this session tonight, but my past shows, I explained, look, they're not from another world. This is their planet also. They've always been here. Okay? They've always been here. Native Americans knew about it. They knew that these animals were in the sky. Right? These supernatural creatures. And they're telling their stories on the stones where the event took place at. Here we go. Look at that there. See these orbs there? Look at the orbs and look at the lines connected together on the right. You see that? You see the lines? Are these bunch of balloons tied together? No. These are orbs or lights in the sky with lines that are connecting them together. Over here on the left with the feet print, you see the feet print? Okay, now look under the feet print. Look at the lines, the crooked lines. You see that? Those are mountains. So I bet you that facing this direction where this panel is carved at, that there is a mountain ridge that looks exactly like that. Those are mountains. Those are mountains. The zigzag pattern is mountains in the background. Okay? And they're telling us with the feet carvings, The spirits walked out of the mountains. That's what those feet and handprints represent. It's representing them coming out of the underworld. They're coming out of the underworld. They're walking out. Okay? That's the interpretation on these handprints and these feet prints that we see carved on rocks and on boulders and stuff like that. When you see handprints, you know, they're not saying, hey, I'm here, I'm going to put my footprint there. You know, they're saying that two entities walk out of the stone. They walked out of the stone. You see the boxes down there on the crack? They're coming out of that crack right there. Unfortunately, we don't see a spiral, you know, proving the theory. If there was a spiral there, then yeah, for sure, that crack would be the doorway. But, you know, I'm still saying that they're coming out of that rock. Okay. Uh-oh. Are we looking at a balloon here? Is this a balloon? Now, this is on the White Tank Mountains in Phoenix, Arizona. You see that? So we have a sun or light. You know, that could be a light right there on the left. I mean, I'm getting the vibes of the left of him. That would be like a phoenix light, because you know it's sparkling, it's glittering, right? So that's a light on the left, and then an orb with a line, not a string, but a line coming down from that orb. This is important because we're going to be looking at a UFO video that I filmed earlier within the week that looks exactly like that. So yeah, get ready for that. It's coming up soon. And look at this here. Look at this. This is really neat. Look at the spiral, okay? And this entity's coming out of the spiral, dude. Isn't that great? This entity, this creature is coming out of the doorway. Now look at that. Look at the rock. Look what it's carved on. It's lava rock. Uh-oh. Is there a fault line there? Is this a volcano? Yes, man. Yeah, it's an energy. It's volcano. It's a fault line into there, dude. It's coming out of the rock. It's coming out of the mountain, because the mountain is a volcano from a fault line. That's where the energy is. So, I mean, just looking at the stone, dude, you could tell. You know, it's a lava stone. The spirit's coming out of the energy spot, out of the volcano mountain. I like that petroglyph. I don't know where it's carved at. I just had to show it. Here we go. Here's another one. Balloons? No, man. These orbs are connecting together with a line. Now look at the zigzag. Look at the zigzag above them. Let's zoom in on this. You see the zigzag from the line? Look at the line. That line is the door, and it's energy. Those zigzag patterns going up, that's representing energy. Now to the right, we see this box. That's another type of UFO entity. So basically, to understand, then over here to the right, we have what some people would say is a cigar UFO. Okay, but that's a creature. It's not, you know, a spaceship. These things are creatures. This is what they look like. Okay, this is what these animals, these super creatures look like. Okay, and so the story on this rock is they're all going after the energy. They're oriented in a way going towards the zigzag pattern, the energy. Here we go. Look at the zigzag pattern on the bottom. You see that? That's energy. That they're telling us that this stone generates energy. All right? And that's what attracts these UFOs, these creatures, these beings, is the energy that this rock contains, or the mountain that it's carved on. Here we go, spiral. I think this is the last petroglyph, and then we're going to get into our UFO sightings. I have 2 of them that I want to show you. Here we go, spiral again. Spirals are the doorways. So, when a spiral goes down, when a spiral goes clockwise going down, it's a doorway in, okay? And then, you know, when it ends at a crack, then that is the doorway. That crack is the doorway for the spirit. If there's no crack and it ends down, then it's the ground. It's that whole area there that the spirit, the UFO entity, the creature comes up out of the ground there. If the spiral goes counterclockwise and ends up, then it's a doorway out. And that's when we're looking at a vortex in the sky, okay? And these lights just appear. That's when we're talking about the Phoenix lights, these orbs just magically appearing above your head. You know, I've had this happen so many times. Other people have had this happen. These orbs, you're looking at one orb, and then another orb will just appear. Another orb will appear, right? So they're coming through the vortex. They're coming through the door. They're coming through the vortex, dude. They're coming through the spiral door. It's interesting, too, because Skinwalker Ranch, you know, I've been saying this, you know, ever since 2005, right? And so Skinwalker Ranch just recently, episode 4, season 1, all right? So they're testing the energy, okay? They put sensors in these rockets, right? And they launch these rockets up to see if there's any energy in the sky, okay? And they found out, yeah, there is energy in the sky, like I've been saying all along. You know, so Skinwalker Ranch, there's no petroglyphs, you know, on the ranch itself, but there are petroglyphs on the mountains around that ranch. The mountains is the source, is the key, is the energy spots, right? That's where the energy is. But they verified what I've been saying all these years, you know, that the energy is up there, all right, through their little rockets and their little tests. Now, when the rocket was up there, lo and behold, there was a light orb in the sky. And they were like all crazy and going crazy. Oh, there's a UFO light in the sky, blah, blah, blah. And they're still saying spaceships. They're still saying crafts. And then they start saying, well, that's probably the reason why we got energy up there, is because that craft was producing that energy. No, dude. Wrong. Wrong. That light is there for the energy. It's not making the energy. The light's there absorbing the energy. Energy's not coming off the light. The light's taking the energy out of the sky, man. Well, one of these days they'll get it. Remember, you heard it here first, folks, okay? So when all these other, you know, so-called sky watchers, you know, start saying, "Oh, the energy in the sky and the UFOs are absorbing it," dude, I've been saying this since 2005. Remember that. And a lot of people are taking my work and using it for their own gain, which is bullcrap. You know, they won't give me the credit on discovering all this stuff. They won't give me the credit on all my hard work in the Phoenix Lights, you know, all my investigations on the mountains. You know, I busted up my knees on that mountain, you know. I wasted so much time watching the skies and videotaping and going to the library and finding the facts, right? They don't want to give me credit for that. You know, they want to steal my work, right, and use it for their own gain. And so when you see all these other people out there, you know, saying, "Oh, the energy and all the fault lines and blah, blah," dude, you wasn't talking about that until my research came around. Okay, so I have been filming some UFOs, some things in the sky the last few days now, and we're going to talk about 2 of them. The other 2, I'm not ready to show yet because I don't believe that the public is ready for that type of sighting yet. So maybe sometime in the future, I'll release the videos that I have recorded. But for the time being, let's look at the sightings that are cool and that, the public might understand. Okay, so here, okay, so remember I was talking about the lines? Okay, so we're going to show, this is a sighting that took place here where I live at. And so you're going to see the sighting, and then you're going to see the petroglyph panels. So let's look at the sighting and let's examine the petroglyph panel. So a lot of people would think, oh, that, you know, there's a line to it. Remember the lines? Okay. Oh, so it must be a balloon because it's got a line to it, right? Well, that's the reason why, you know, I'm showing these petroglyphs along with the sighting. Okay. To understand, just because this orb has a light in it doesn't make it a damn balloon. Okay. This is what is in the skies today. This is what's credible in the skies today, is what's carved on the rocks 1,000 years ago that we can go up there and look at and see. Okay. Just because this light has a line on it doesn't mean it's a balloon. Look at the carvings to the right. The circles with the lines coming down from them. Okay? Just because it has a line on it does not mean that it's a balloon. It means that that line there is part of them. It's part of this creature. There's a thing that's on my website there. It's an orb, and it's got this line, and it's taken a man up into the sky. You see where I'm going here with this? Okay? But so many people see that line and just automatically dismiss, oh, it's got to be a balloon because there's a string. Well, why are the damn Indians carving balloons with strings on them 1,000 years ago? Again, when something doesn't make sense, it is not credible. When somebody's going claiming that a craft went over Phoenix, Arizona, and not one person can videotape this or film it, but yet thousands of people say that there is, it's not credible. Okay, especially as something going 8 miles an hour. Okay, come on. This is hearsay. We cannot. Hearsay needs to take a holiday, and facts needs to step up and take the stage. Not someone exploiting the lights, trying to get famous, trying to sell a book, trying to stay on stage, trying to be, you know, on the cable shows. No, man. It's not about that, dude. It's about getting the information out. It's about truthful, credible, hard, proven facts. Not hearsay to sell a book. So this sighting is going to be on my YouTube page, and it's also going to be on my Petroglyph, on my Facebook page for you to take a look at again if you want to. So the Phoenix Lights Petroglyphs in the Sky is my YouTube page. I have another YouTube page, Petroglyphs in the Sky, but I cannot get into that anymore. I made that account 17 years ago under a Yahoo email. Since then, Google has bought Yahoo, and I am locked out of the Petroglyphs in the Sky channel on YouTube. A lot of people are subscribing to that. A lot of people are sending me messages. I cannot get anything off of that old account. Okay, you want to follow the Phoenix Lights Petroglyphs in the Sky new channel. There you can see some of my other work that I've done. I mean, that channel just has a lot of stuff on it. It's got my UFO shows. It's got UFOs on there. It's got some of my ghost adventure things on there. So yeah, follow me there. Find me there on my YouTube channel, my YouTube account, and the Petroglyphs in the Sky, the Phoenix Lights. Okay, so this right here, this is cool. I filmed this the 11th of this month. This is a light in the sky. Now, when I first saw this, I was taking out the trash, right? I'm on my way out to the trash can. I have two handfuls of trash, and I'm going to the trash. And I look up, and this light's right there, dude. And I couldn't believe how close it was. It was so close, right over the parking lot. I dropped the bag of trash. I ran to the house. I grabbed my camera, ran back out, and when I did, I captured it going away. And I wanted to film it over the I like to use, I like to use the reference points, the trees there and stuff. Oh, here we go. Let's keep it on track. Yeah, and so we watched it. Pam and I watched it until all of a sudden it disappears. At first, I thought it was gonna come back, because right there, see how it got brighter? It looked like it was gonna come back. And I was really hoping that it would. I was counting on it coming back. But it didn't. It took off. And then it disappeared. And watch how it disappears. Oops. See that? See how it just disappears? Now the video is gonna replay itself here. Then you'll see the beginning of it. But yeah, man, that was a great sighting. It's too bad. Like when I first saw it, it was right above our apartment complex, right above the parking lot there, and so when oh my God, it was so huge and it was so bright. And I'm like, oh my God. And it wasn't blinking, because a lot of these sky watchers, they film these blinking lights in their airplanes. They're airplanes, like, especially like in UFOs over Vegas, dude. Oh, he's filming aircraft, These things do not blink repetitiously. Sometimes they do blink. Sometimes they do flash, but it's not repetitiously. Airplanes, aircraft, man-made aircraft, they flash repetitively. They flash in a pattern. Okay, the anti-collision lights on aircrafts flash in a pattern. Once you see that pattern, automatically this is not a UFO sighting. This is a man-made aircraft. Okay, so when I saw this, and it was right over the house, it wasn't making any noise. It was very silent. Didn't cast any shadows or anything like that. Not blinking. That's a dead giveaway that this was a real UFO light in the sky. This was a creature. This is a real living entity that we see in the sky. So yeah, you can go back and replay these videos. Shortly, they'll be up on my my YouTube channel, the Phoenix Lights, Petroglyphs in the Sky. Not my old channel, Petroglyphs in the Sky. No, not YouTube no more. Not that. YouTube, Phoenix Lights, Petroglyphs in the Sky is what you want to follow. Right? And also on my Facebook page, Jeff Woolwine, Petroglyphs in the Sky. So yeah, that's probably going to do it for tonight's show. Thank you guys so much for watching. And make sure that you like and subscribe, and you follow me right here. And if you have any UFO sightings, send them to me. Message me on Facebook. Send me your petroglyph carvings or photographs. I'd love to go over it. And if they're great, they're good, I'll show them. I'll give you credibility on capturing them. And so yeah, make sure that you guys like, follow, and subscribe. And we will see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. And keep your eyes in the sky, because you never know what you're gonna see. See you later.